Hello, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor of CropLife and CropLife Iron, here again with Dan Jacobs as my co-host. Dan, how are we doing today?
Doing great. Thank you, Eric.
Good, good. Hey, we got a bunch of financial news to talk about on this week's episode. I know that here at the end of September, as we're recording this, it is the end of September, but this video will actually air in early October. But at the end of September, the Agricultural Outlook Forum took place, and one of the speakers at that event was the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins. Now, Brooke acknowledged that it's been pretty tough going for the growers here in 2025, and I know myself compiling all the information I'm collecting for our CropLife 100, a lot of the retailers are mentioning that their growers are under severe stress because you have a perfect storm of low commodity prices but high input prices that they're dealing with. So that is creating a very, very untenable situation for the growers here in the United States. And Brooke Rollins acknowledged that in her speech to the forum members and said that the Trump administration is going to try to help out in a couple of ways. Number one thing they're going to do is they're going to work with the antitrust division of the Department of Justice to look at why crop input prices have remained so high while commodity prices have dropped. So that is going to be an effort that's going to start immediately. And the other thing they're looking to do is purchase 417,000 metric tons of American grown commodities. And they're hoping to invest 480 million to purchase commodities that are American grown. And they're going to provide those to the McGovern Dole International Food for Education and Child Nutrition and Food for Progress program. So again, in those two ways, they're hoping to help the growers deal with some of the financial stress they're under at the moment.
It's really interesting news and kind of ties to what I was going to talk about,
Which is,
which is, according to the University of Illinois agricultural economists, they interviewed some growers in that state, and uh, Illinois farmers expect to pay $229 per acre for fertilizer on their corn, and $61 per acre for soybean nutrients in 2026. So the prices are going to go up, not a lot, but they are expected to go up. The projected costs for growers are slightly elevated from 2025, reflecting farmer sentiment in Illinois and across the Midwest. 700, there were 73% of the 262 farmers that were surveyed expect higher fertilizer prices, higher fertilizer costs in the year ahead. Now, speaking of fertilizer, the prices have come down since 2022. We all are aware of what happened back then, but in relation to the crop prices, they're still relatively high. So something that people are going to have to watch out for in 2026.
yeah, I was going to say, I know like I say, the CropLife 100 forums, a lot of the folks in the open-ended question about what's the biggest challenge going into 26. They keep mentioning prices. I mean, in a normal year, usually labor finding keeping employees is the number one issue. But just a rough look at the forms I have in it, I think pricing in all parts of the business are going to be the major concern going into next year. And by the way, since I keep mentioning CropLife 100, I know this is the week that I'm hoping to get in the last of the forms. So if you haven't gotten your form to me yet, please do so ASAP so I can compile all the numbers and put together as complete a report as possible that'll appear in our December edition of the magazine and online, of course, starting December 1st. And Dan, I'll bring up one other thing. Of course, one of the major reasons I think the U.S. growers are having a tough time here in 2025 is normally China is a big purchaser of U.S. soybeans. Normally, at this time of year, over 54% of the expected harvest of soybean would be earmarked for Chinese importation to that country. But as from what I understand, China has bought zero worth of U.S. soybeans this year. And I know that after Brooke Rollins talked at the Agricultural Outlook Forum, one of the Chinese ministers of commerce mentioned that until the U.S. does something about the tariffs that they have in place on Chinese goods, the country is vowing to buy its soybean from other countries like Argentina and Brazil. And I also did read in that same article that they're buying a lot of their livestock products, beef and pork from places like Australia. So basically, it sounds like China is not buying anything from the U.S. in terms of agricultural products here in 2025. So,
Yeah, that's something I've read about that too, and it's going to be an interesting next several months to see how this all plays out.
amen to that. And again, we keep talking about all these things that the government is planning to do to help out farmers moving forward. But I guess the wild card and all that, as we record this, the government may be in a shutdown mode. And unfortunately, from what I've kind of gleaned from some things I've read online, if the government is shut down, none of these plans will be moving forward. So it could be it could be a very, like you say, very interesting fall for our friends in the grower community. Of course, we will keep tabs on all this as we move forward. So stay tuned to future editions of CropLife Retail Week to know what's going on. One other thing before we dive into the end of our program, I know last week we mentioned that the CropLife Iron Product of the Year voting had opened. And we had mentioned the 5 products that were the finalists. So please, between now and Halloween, if you have a favorite among those 5 that we talked about, please vote and get your opinions known so we can have a winner here and announce them sometime in the wintertime. All
Sounds
right.
good.
Well, Dan, time to put you on the hot seat again since you're here. Time
Okay.
for fun with numbers. And I don't have to apologize up front. This episode of Fun with Numbers would be, I guess, no fun with numbers because you'll understand why when I give you the options, and you can kind of understand why this is no fun. So your number this week, percentage, 32%. Okay. 32%, Dan. So is 32%, is that A, the increase in labor costs for growers in 2025? Is it B, the increase in fuel/oil expenses for growers in 2025? Is it C, the increase in interest expenses for growers in 2025? Or is it D, the percentage of time Dan Jacobs will not appear on CropLife Retail Week in October?
If when it comes to fun with numbers, let's hope it's that last one. But if I have to pick, I'm going to go and I understand why there are no good outcomes here. No fun with numbers. Why these are no fun with numbers. I'm going to go with A, labor costs.
No, I'm sorry, you're incorrect. The correct answer is B, the increase in fuel oil expenses for growers this year, up 32%.
Hmm.
Again, these are percentages that Brooke Rollins threw out in her speech to the Agricultural Outlook Forum. Labor costs are up 47%. So again,
Wow.
that's a big increase. And interest expenses up 73%. So now you understand why I said this was a no fun with numbers edition because and she had mentioned some other statistics. She mentioned, let's see, that seed costs were up 18% so far, and fertilizer expenses up 37%. So again, um, you understand why the grower community is struggling. Crop input prices, interest, fuel, oil, everything is up, and labor, of course. So
Yeah.
yeah, so only keep our fingers crossed that hopefully and I know again, supply and demand stuff goes up quickly when there's more demand. Hopefully things start evening out as we move through into the 26 season, but we will have to see.
No, something to keep our eyes on for sure.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this edition of CropLife Retail Week, and thank you, Dan Jacobs, for sitting in the last couple of weeks. With luck, Miss Laura Sawinski will be back next week to tell us all about her adventures up in Canada and throughout the Midwest. But in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed this edition. Thank you, and we will see you again soon.
So long, everybody.
If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.